Hello everyone, thought I'd show you my recent watches. So I did say I do it kind of recent rather than weekly. Obviously I've said in the past, I'm depending on when I'm working and what I've got to do in my social life outside of work, I don't always have time to sort of do weekly. But to be fair, in the last week I have managed to watch 8 films. I think I've said a few times this week I'm off, I say on holiday, off work, on vacation, annual leave, whatever you call it, for like 8 or 9 days or so. So I should be able to get quite a few watched. But yeah, recently I've been trying to sort of watch one every night after work, and then I think I watched two on my day off or so. Not going to show them in any particular order. I will say which is my sort of watch of the week, although quite hard to narrow it down really. To choose out of sort of two of them, I think it was. So yeah, start with Ouija Origins of Evil. Yeah, still in the PS5. I watched this one last night after the live stream. Uh, yeah, shout out to everybody on the live stream and everybody that watched. Really enjoyed that. If you want to watch it, not live, but watch the stream now, it's posted. I think it is about 3.5 hours. So whether you've got the patience for that, it is over on Ollie's channel on Ollie Loves Film. I'll link him down below. Yeah, so basically, I was trying to link everybody I mention. But yeah, rather than sort of remembering who I mention, I think on each video I'll just link all of the people in the Movie Loons WhatsApp group, and then Marcus, who's in the Lords of Darkness with me and Ash. And then yeah, I usually try and link Jodie, I guess, because I do usually mention her in the videos, because she usually talks about some film. So yeah, one of them I've watched since Jodie was talking about it. But yeah, Ouija Origin of Evil, so directed by Mike Flanagan. Yeah, so it turns out I have watched this one before. I thought so. I don't think I've owned it. I think I watched it on streaming years ago. So I think, what year was this out? Never very good at finding the year on these films. 2016. So yeah, I think once I watched, is it called Hill House or Hell House, that Netflix exclusive? That was a good show. Um, then obviously I started looking on Mike Flanagan's discography, would you call it? Films he's directed on IMDb. Obviously, a few I already had, um, like Oculus, Absentia. Yeah, and then I basically went on a bit of a binge watching his stuff. So yeah, I owned Ouija Part 1, which I think it was, I can remember it being alright. It wasn't great, but yeah, I think I traded it in years ago. And then, yeah, never actually owned this one before, although I thought I did. But yeah, obviously when rewatching this, I did, sort of all came back to me. Yeah, one thing I would say about his films, not only are they creepy and well made, but he has really good sort of drama, like interpersonal relationships between the family. So where, a lot of horror films, I find the character development, all the characters in general aren't very likable. No stakes because you don't really care about them. In Mike Flanagan films, especially in the Hell House kind of thing, Hill House, where he's got, there's a lot of episodes, must be like 10 hours long, where he's got more time to develop the characters. He really sort of creates likable characters and characters you sort of feel involved in. Yeah, so a lot of these people in it did seem to be out of the Hell House series. Was there another one after that? I don't think I watched. But yeah, I kind of went on a bit of a binge of his stuff, and yeah, I had seen this before, though I said it was better on the second viewing. So yeah, it is creepy. Yeah, the characters are really good in it. I think the guy that plays the priest, and if you can see her on the back, hopefully it's not too bad glare, is that her there? The mum, I think they were both out of Hill House. And then yeah, the two girls in this are really good. Um, Older girl, the sort of ginger hair, good, but yeah, the younger girl for me really sold it. The bits, obviously not a spoiler to say, when she's sort of possessed and things. It's a bit when she talks to the sort of boyfriend of the older sister about what it's like to be strangled, and yeah, the way she delivered the dialogue was really good on that. I think I've seen her in a few other things, but yeah, one to watch out for. I don't know what she's doing nowadays, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she's gone on to big things. Only sort of, yeah, I think it was set in the 60s. Somebody comment down below if you know, but they did reference about landing on the moon, and I think the older sister did say, one with the sort of red hair, did say, the moon is so, you can see it. Why can't we land on it? And then the sort of boyfriend said there's a lot of reasons you can. So yeah, I thought the moon landing was the late 60s. The aesthetics did look like this was made in, well, not made, set in the 70s. But yeah, I'm not sure when the moon landing was. But obviously this is meant to be set just before the moon landing happened. Some people believe it's a conspiracy, but I think they really landed on the moon. Yeah, I'd say the only sort of slight negative is there's a bit, without kind of spoiling it, CGI of these kind of like black kind of shadow creatures. Didn't look great, but it didn't take me out of the film. I did think it had a similar kind of vibe. I've spoke a few times about sort of film called The Possession, which had it was a dad and two daughters rather than the mum and two daughters. Very similar kind of drama and good acting and things, but yeah, when I recommended that to my friend, he did say that he thought a few of the sort of scary scenes in that were a bit laughable. And I never used to think that, but when I went back and watched it a month or so ago, I was like, yeah, actually, I can see why people would say that. So I think I've recommended that to a few people. So hopefully, if you watch it and do sort of laugh at some of the creepy scenes, you won't hold it against me too much. But yeah, it's always one I've enjoyed, but I'd say this is a better one. Very similar kind of film, same kind of setting and things to do with ghosts and sort of stuff like that. But yeah, I've spoke about that one long enough, so I'll get on with another one. Let me move these to there. So yeah, you've got Possum. So a few of these I will be showing on my recent pickups, but I thought I'd do this one first. Maybe upload the recent pickups, but it's just easier for me to put them in the pile. So yeah, this is a British film directed by Matthew Holness that did Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, The Snipist, and A Gun for George, which is on here. Starring Sean Harris. I think he was also in Absentia. I think he might have been in Creep. But yeah, he's known as like a real character actor. Was he also in... what's it called? I think he was in Shape of Water. Maybe Pan's Labyrinth. Might be getting him mixed up with another guy. And then it also stars Alan Armstrong. That was in Kroll, The Duelist, which I've said before is, to my knowledge, Ridley Scott's first film. And Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, it's a very disturbing, well, not so much disturbing, sorry, dark, depressing kind of film. Near the end, there's quite, it's more what it infers, which is sort of disturbing than what you see. Although, yeah, it is a very bleak, I think I said when I showed this in the overview of their collection, the sort of house they live in is just so disgusting. It's a really grimy kind of film, but yeah, even though it's quite a slow burner, I found it wasn't boring, it kind of flew by. Quite a weird film, yeah, I don't think it'd be for everybody, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and one I'll keep in the collection. Yeah, I think that's only like £5 or so in CEX. Stuart's favourite Toby Hooper film, Life Force. Yes, I had it on DVD. I think I watched the DVD years ago. Couldn't really remember too much about it. But yeah, watching it again now, not only is it really good special effects and, the presentation, the way it's filmed looks really good in general. But yeah, this 4K of it looks really good. Obviously, I can't remember the DVD too much. Don't think it was available. Yeah, it was available. Sorry, and Arrow Video did a Blu-ray before it jumped up to this. So obviously, from the DVD to this is going to be a big improvement. Yeah, it's really entertaining. And yeah, it's more of a sci-fi film, I would say, than a horror. Yeah, it might be my favourite. I mean, I personally prefer Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a better made and more important film. Although this is more enjoyable and fun. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a kind of depressing, gets under your skin, grimy kind of, make you need a shower afterwards kind of film. But yeah, it's got the international cut I think I watched rather than the theatrical cut, which was a bit longer. Starring Steve Railsback, Peter Firth, Frank Finlay, Nicholas Bourne, introducing Matilda May, which basically plays a naked woman in this. So yeah, I'm sure some people will enjoy looking at her as that. I've got to flip this round actually, I haven't bothered yet. But yeah, I was really impressed with this one. Yeah, so in terms of enjoyment, yeah, maybe it's my favourite Toby Hooper film to watch. Like I say, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, more important, Eaten Alive, and The Funhouse. Not seen Eaten Alive yet, but heard quite bad things about it. And The Funhouse, yeah, wasn't great. Poltergeist, you could say, is his best film, but apparently Spielberg had his hands all over it. It's not just Toby Hooper. Done Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which I will show in the pickups, which is kind of more of a funny sort of comedy. Don't think I can think of many sequels that are so different from the original, done by the same director. Obviously, where TCM was a very sort of gritty, dark kind of disturbing film. The second one's a bit more of like a comedy horror romp. But yeah, I was impressed by life force. Last Voyage of the Demeter. So yeah, I think obviously when I showed the collection, I did speak about this briefly. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's quite a slow burn, but yeah, I really like the setting on the ship. The ship's actually, I think I'm saying it right, Demeter. It could be Demeter, but Demeter sounds better to me. But yeah, really like the sort of aesthetics. Did kind of feel a bit like a Robert Eggers film, not quite as arty, and it'd probably be in black and white if it was by Robert Eggers. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. Some quite creepy scenes. You can see him on the front, so not really a spoiler, but yeah, the sort of vampire creature in it, really good. I have read Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I think the bit on the ship is quite a short part of the story, like 20 pages or so. So he did well to pad it out to this without it being, too convoluted, I would say. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the best horror film I've seen from last year, even though it's come out this year. I think it was 20. Oh no, it is 2025. It's saying. Oh right. I swear it came out in the cinema last year. Someone comment down below if you've seen it last year. Pretty sure it was, but yeah, it's showing on the back it was released. But yeah, I was quite impressed by that one. Quite an atmospheric horror film, and yeah, I don't see too many set on a boat, whereas I really like that setting. And far as a bit of the sort of gore and violence, I won't spoil it, but it does go there. There's like one character gets sort of killed that you wouldn't think is going to happen to him, where it doesn't usually show things like that on all films. What should we show next? Inner Space. Oh, yeah, this is one I watched a lot as a kid. First time I've watched it as an adult, I think, since I must have last seen it, when I was like 9 years old. So it's Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, and Meg Ryan, directed by Joe Dante. Done a load of fun films. The Burb's probably my favourite by Joe Dante. Obviously, he's got The Howling. My mind's gone a bit blank. I'm sure I'll think of some, but I'll carry on with this so it don't go on too long. But yeah, basically, they sort of shrink a guy down so they can inject him into, is it a dog, a monkey, an animal basically, to do some sort of research inside the body, and then this is a spoiler to say, it sort of tells you on the blurb, but yeah, he accidentally gets injected into a human, and then he's trying to find his way out. He's going around a little spaceship. He goes through like all parts of the body. Some real sort of funny comedy in it. Yeah, really enjoyable film. Well made, not sort of too dated considering it came out in 1987. Meg Ryan's good in it. Yeah, Randy Quaid really good in it. Didn't Randy Quaid go on to be in Sliders? Was it called? It's like a really underrated sci-fi film. Sci-fi series that used to be on Sky One, I think it was. It was either Sliders or Quantum Leap. I think Quantum Leap was Scott Bakula. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have seen Inner Space. I do also want to get one by Joe Dante. Obviously, he did Gremlins, that's what I'm forgetting of. Called Explorers, which looks really good. But yeah, it seems to be out of print, or at least £20 sort of import or something on Amazon on Blu-ray. Didn't really see him in stock. Next, I'll talk about this. Obviously, this is a whole anthology. But yeah, I watched Exorcist II: The Heretic. Yes, I mean, this one been on my radar for a while. I kind of put it off because a lot of people said it was really bad. But yeah, a few people said it was not the worst Exorcist film. And yeah, Jodie, is it Jodie's Movie Realm, I think she's called? I'll try and link it down below in the description. But yeah, she was sort of singing this one's praises. And yeah, I was, I wouldn't say impressed, but after what I'd heard, it was exceeded my expectations, shall we say. But yeah, it's definitely better than is it called The Beginning? Yeah, The Beginning and Dominion. Oh, those are not only badly made, but they're boring. Whereas I wouldn't say this is boring. Yeah, it's not a greatly made film. I'd probably sort of give it 5 out of 10 or so. Don't know if I'd watch it again for a while, but the acting in general I thought was good. Obviously, a lot of these kind of films that are known as bad films have got really amateur, terrible acting, which sort of takes you out of the film. Whereas, yeah, I think Stuart did comment on a live stream saying, oh, it's not going to show me his name unless I open the whole thing up. Plays the priest. He said he was kind of wooden and just didn't really do much. But I thought at a time when he's sort of just staring out the train window, not responding, he was meant to be, I don't know if he was possessed or he was sort of overcome by the worry of having to go and sort of try and fight Pazuzu. But yeah, probably he was the weakest performer. But Linda Blair, yeah, she must be about 16 in this. I think it's 4 years after The Exorcist, and I think she was 12 or 13 in that. But yeah, she delivers a good performance. I can't think of the main woman's name. I don't think it'll even show me if I open all this up, to tell you the truth. Oh yeah, it does. Kitty Wynn. She the one that plays the sort of psychologist woman. Yeah, she's really good in it. James Earl Jones plays this kind of like voodoo priest sort of guy. He's good. He didn't in it too much. Music by Ennio Morricone, really good. Yeah, there's like a theme with like a sort of choir, sort of well humming, I'd say, rather than singing. Really good. Yeah, the only sort of things that well, the main negatives from it, I would say, is I don't know if it's CGI. I mean, it was what 86. Um, can't see the date now on there, but yeah, it seemed a bit early to be CGI. Maybe it was like practical effects, but I'm sure everybody knows of the sort of locusts. And yeah, when the locusts are flying, or especially the singular locust, it looks quite bad. And the bit that was really annoying me is there's a bit when I think it's like astral projection, but it's basically flies on the wings of the good locust, I think they call it. And as the camera's sort of in first person view flying across like the water and things, or like past the aeroplane, there's this weird, I don't know if it's meant to be one of the characters, but they're kind of humming out of tune really badly. And then yeah, that was really getting to me. But yeah, like I say, I've not seen, is it called Exorcist Believer, the newest one? Heard that's one of the worst ones, but can't comment. But yeah, way better than Dominion and the Beginning. Really didn't like those ones. Yeah, you know, people are saying this is the worst film they've seen. Maybe in their opinion it is, but maybe they've not seen that many bad films, because I've seen, yeah, lots of films much worse than this. Worse acting, worse sort of set, you know, some really bad ones. I won't sort of name too many. Some like The Room, Troll 2, Manos Hands of Fate are sort of so bad they're funny, hilarious, entertaining, good. And then yeah, I've seen a few ones like Backwoods Bloodbath, Scar 3D, I think it was called. That was just awful on all accounts and much worse than this. But yeah, kind of wouldn't say I was pleasantly surprised. Like I'm saying, it's not a good film, but yeah, I was entertained by it. Like I said, I've seen a lot worse. Walkabout. So yeah, it's tied between this one and the next one for my watches of the week. So yeah, obviously this one's on second sight. I think I managed to pick this one up in CEX for like 18, which I was really happy with. It's been out of print for a long time. It's a Nicholas Roeg film that also does Don't Look Now and The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie, I think. Sammy G will know on that. I know he's a big David Bowie fan. Yeah, I was really impressed by this. It's set in Australia. I'll give you the little blurb on the back. A young sister and brother are left stranded in the blistering heat of the vast Australian outback, facing exhaustion and starvation. Their salvation comes when they cross paths with an Aboriginal boy on Walkabout, a ritual in which he must leave his home and learn to live off the land. He teaches them how to survive in the wilderness, but a clash of cultures leads to terrible and tragic consequences. So yeah, it's an interesting story. I will say there's quite a bit of sort of animal killings, but it's not done gratuitously in the style of, you know, Cannibal Holocaust or Cannibal Ferox. It's more that the Aboriginal guy is sort of killing the animals. And I guess, I think the guy that plays him, I think he's called David Gulpilil. I think he's a real Aboriginal. So I guess he was really killing them with spears and things in real life. So, you know, it's just showing his way of life. There is some nudity, bit of strong language. But yeah, the thing I was most impressed, obviously the story and the acting is good, especially by Jenny Agutter. Nicholas Roeg's son plays like the young boy in it. But yeah, the cinematography on this is amazing, beautiful, really good soundtrack. Who does the sound? Can I find it on here? Obviously it's directed, photograph, yes, the cinematography is by Nicholas Roeg. Music composed and conducted by John Barry. Sure, everybody knows John Barry. I think George spoke about a film he'd scored, composed, whatever you call it. Yeah, only one thing I will say about this, kind of, I found a bit hard to watch, I guess, is it's not done in a gratuitous way. Obviously, there's a lot of nudity where you see the Aboriginal tribe, and obviously they don't have clothes and things. But there are bits when Jenny Agutter is sort of completely nude in it, and she is only 16. So, you know, it's not illegal or anything. But yeah, it felt a bit weird kind of watching her nude at that age. But yeah, it's not done in a gratuitous way. It's not only done, you know, if you can see the native sort of Aboriginals nude, because that's the way they live, then, you know, they're showing her in that kind of situation. But yeah, when I watch the extras, it does say she didn't want to do it, and then Nicholas Roeg kind of said, you know, this is an important part of the film. We want to show you nude in nature, to show you're embracing nature. But yeah, I will say, if people go to watch this, then yeah, you know, I did find it felt a bit sort of weird to watch a 16-year-old girl nude, but like I say, completely unerotic and ungratuitous. It's just showing her naturally, I would say. But yeah, really impressed by Walkabout. I know that's one Roy Barrett, when I picked it up probably 6 months, 8 months ago, less than a year, I think, showed it on a video, and Roy said to let him know what he thought of it because he enjoyed it. And yeah, finally got round to it. Really impressed by that one. And then yeah, this one, probably joint with Walkabout. Can't really decide which is my favourite between them. So it's Orca the Killer Whale. So directed by Michael Anderson, starring Richard Harris and Charlotte Rampling. From 1977, I believe. See if I can find it. Yeah, I think this was before Jaws. I think Richard Harris must be Ed Harris's dad. He looks a lot like him. Yeah, I was really impressed by this one. Not only a well-made film, finding a lot of films from the 70s, especially late 70s, have a really certain kind of aesthetic where they just seem to be really well made in general, compared to a lot of films, you know, say the 80s, as much as they're cheesy and fun, some of them aren't as well made as 70s films. Yeah, good cinematography. Who does the music? Does it tell me on here? Oh, music by Ennio Morricone. A bit of a coincidence, I didn't realise, but yeah, watched 2 by him in the last week. Obviously, he does the Dollars trilogy, Man with No Name, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to think. He does a few other films I know of, but yeah, good soundtrack. And I think, yeah, the bit's obviously not a spoiler to say when the people are being attacked by the killer whale. Guessing it's like a mechanical one or practical effects. Obviously, they're not really feeding them, paying the actors a lot to take a bite by the killer whale. But there are bits when they're in the water with the killer whale, and it does seem a real killer whale. Obviously, you can train them like they used to use in Sea Life and things, SeaWorld, whatever it's called. Although, if anyone's seen Blackfish, they treated them badly and they turned on their captors, shall we say, trainers. But yeah, really well trained the way, they're interacting in the water. Really good sort of story, good dynamics, would you say? Chemistry, especially between Richard Harris and Charlotte Rampling. Who else is in it? Will Sampson, Bo Derek. Yeah, she's good in it. Looks nice as usual. Yeah, I was really impressed by this one. After Jaws and Alligator, one of my favourite creature features I've seen, especially subaquatic, shall we say. I've got Shark, I showed a little while ago by Burt Reynolds, which I think at the time I said, it must be ripping off Jaws, but it was done 1969, so that's a long time before both of those. I'll get around to that. Obviously, there's other creature features everybody knows, like Gremlins and The Thing, but yeah, in terms of ones with sort of real animals, you know, in Alligator, he's kind of mutated, whereas, yeah, this is just the normal. But yeah, the intelligence the orca shows really clever. The noises he makes when he's growling, I'm assuming that's real. Noises when he does his like sonar and clicking, I think is definitely real. But yeah, would recommend this if people haven't seen this. I think it's still on offer. I got this in HMV reduced from $15 to $11.99 on the Studio Canal Cult Classics. I'm not going to open it all up and take too long, but yeah, it does have some nice little postcards. I think you can get this on 4K, quite expensive, but yeah, the Blu-ray looked really good to me. Yes, that's everything I've watched this week, and then, like I say, I'm not always going to be able to do it weekly, but I will be back, probably in a week or so, just to show all the ones I've watched whilst I've been off work, while I'll have quite a lot of downtime to get through them. Comment down below if you know anything about these, or I've already forgot what I said, but a few questions I asked earlier that I wasn't sure on, if anybody knows any more information about those. Yeah, I think it was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, whether it's just out on Blu-ray this year or whether it came straight out on Blu-ray when it came to the cinema. It seemed to take a long time to get a Blu-ray release from when I first heard about it. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye.